find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. It is morning time. It's 9:07 a.m. Wow, drive time for some. Somewhere. No, it's after drive time, huh? Usually 9's, I don't know. I work at home, so I don't have to deal with traffic. So anyhow, I hope everybody's having a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. I certainly am. I actually got to bed at a decent hour last night. I was just tired, man. I was played a round of Age of Empires, which was very short-lived because we just got stomped by our friend Awful Redneck Gaming, who undrawn and quartered last night. Tank something or other. New guy. Oh my gosh, I can't. Sorry, he was a new guy. Tank. I don't have it up here anywhere. Do I have it down here anywhere? No, I don't. Wasn't me. That's all I know. Wasn't me. Had a good time. Terry Huddleston was on there for the first time last night. That was fun. Old friend Terry. He will be on probably tomorrow night. Gonna do a I don't know if I want to call it a Friday night hangout or a bullpen. Friday night bullpen. Maybe we'll call it that. Tank Ferret Art. There you go. That's the one. What's up, Samuli Olki? Evening? What part of the world are you in? Oh no, what? Don't know if anyone else had heard Black Wolf Senpai passed away. Wow. You know, I was just talking about Perkindo the other day. And my wife is like, I wonder how many people have passed away, that you don't even know about. And now Black Wolf Senpai. Wow. That's... Sorry to hear that. That's life. Funny as it seems. Some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. I don't know where to go with that. Sorry, I pray for his family and his friends that that he is, well, obviously that he'll be missed, but that they are comforted. I remember him from Tug's live stream from some con. Yeah. Sending blessings to you guys. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. Somebody wanted to see my art from last night. This is the piece. I have not posted it anywhere. I usually don't get around to scanning stuff too quick. Maybe I should. But there it is. There was my silver medal. We had a 3-way tie for silver medal last night. First time. Gosh darn it. I'm in that weird, is it cold or is it hot? There you go. First one. Where's Lady Celtic Moon? Is she here yet? To Black Wolf. I don't remember seeing him for a while. Here. Did he go the other way in the big split? I forget. That was a fun D&Q minus the Star Wars talk. I enjoyed the Star Wars talk. I enjoy people disagreeing about that. Everyone doesn't have to be in tandem on there. Black Wolf Senpai, he was a fella from the chat. He was a member of the Community, the dreaded word community. Dun, dun, dun. 10 watching now, 11 likes. Well, that includes me. Like and share, ladies and gentlemen. Like and share, and we'll get into these topics and stuff in a second. I've been criticized this morning on Twitter because I said being a good father means being the kind of man you want your boys to become. You want them to be degenerate bullies? Then keep it up, EVSJWC. And one of the aforementioned EVSJWCs said, Mike, you have never known what it means to be a good father. You're trying to give fatherly advice while you threaten people with box cutters in front of your kids and let them stay up to all hours on weeknights. It's effing laughable, and you're a pathetic role model. Well, I didn't say I was perfect. And I didn't threaten anybody with a box cutter. This is another one of those wonderful, fanciful things we call lies from the other side. What I did was I had a box cutter in my hand. Here, let me do it again so they can get another screenshot. I got a box cutter in here. I got a knife. Where's my box cutter? I don't know where my box cutter is. One of my kids might be out there using it. They usually take it. But I had my box cutter and I was like, you know what? This reminds me of a story. And I was telling the story about when I was a kid and a friend of mine dared me to cut his arm. And so I cut his arm because it was just what kind of a dummy I was. I didn't threaten anybody with a freaking box cutter, you moron. And as to my kids staying up all hours on weeknights, my kids are homeschooled, so who cares what time they go to bed? They get their work done. They get straight A's. They're much better kids than most people's kids I know. My son Elijah hasn't lied to me since he was like 3 years old. And he's 18. He's a teenager. He's an adult, technically. And he's never lied to me. If you wanna do a kid measuring contest, I'll put my kids up against anybody's. Now tell me how pathetic of a role model I am. And this isn't. I don't want to brag about being a great father. I'm not the world's greatest father. You know, I'm teaching my kids to be absolute slobs. But I'm teaching them to be good people, which is more important. If you want to teach your kids to be misogynists and you know that it's funny to laugh at pasting pornographic imagery on and calling women the most vile of names and just doing all of this absolute degenerate garbage and claim that you know anything about fatherhood, opinions vary, I guess. But that is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. But the funny thing is I didn't want to go into it and be so specific about these people. Thank you, Jay Hamilton. He says my kids seem pretty well adjusted and I seem like a great dad. I am not perfect. Did somebody complain about the kids? That's just someone being all pissy. But all right, I'll read what I wrote again and the response. I posted, being a good father means being the kind of man you want your boys to become. You want them to become degenerate bullies? Then keep it up, EVSJWC. And It's absurdist humor. Nobody owes anybody good, constructive, purposeful joke tailored to the recipient's sensibilities. Shame on me for baby birding explanations to adults. Dude, that's totally not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you have a man. You have men. Actually, I don't know how many of these guys have kids. I know that one of them has 4 children and proudly is an absolute degenerate douchebag on YouTube. So I'm just curious, when his kids come home from school early because they've been suspended for saying something to some young lady or some other guy that they heard their daddy say on the YouTube, what's he going to say? What's he going to say without... Is he just going to encourage that behavior, or is he going to be an abject, absolute freaking hypocrite? I mean, I know what he's going to do, but come on. Your daughter's Joker painting from about a month ago on auctions was impeccable. It was really good, wasn't it? She's really quite good. Captain Hell's really curious if the degenerate GC and WC chumps show their kids what they do all day online. Highly doubt it. That's all you need to know about their character. Well, I mean, keep in mind, what if you're on here and you're constantly lying, you're constantly degrading people, you're constantly just degenerating? I don't know, man. I mean, even I get fighting the culture war even, but just constantly broad brushing a group of people you disagree with as evil, as you know, the most vile words and names you can say, even if your kids aren't 5, 6, 12 years old, even if they're adults, you're modeling this behavior for your offspring. And that doesn't give you any pause at all. You want your kids to be... I don't know. I wouldn't want my children to act like that. And I sure as freaking hell wouldn't want my children to marry people that act like that. This is not the direction I wanted to go. I wanted to use this topic in a much more generalized sense of... Jesus asks us to be perfect. Be ye perfect as I am perfect. Jesus came to be our role model, right? Jesus came to live the perfect life and show us how to live, that we might emulate perfection to the best of our ability. I and the Father are one, says he, right? So he showed us that as parents, mothers, fathers, that's the only 2 options, mothers and fathers. Well, I guess stepmothers, stepfather, whatever. Well, you're still in the role of the parent as role models. And we are. Everyone, if you have children in your life, even if you're an uncle, right? An aunt, a leader at a church, a teacher. If you have young people who look up to you and may emulate your behavior, you are a role model. Don't play that, well, I don't want to be nobody's role model. It's not something you get to choose, right? It is not something you get to choose. People who are not susceptible, what's the word? Impressionable. People who are impressionable and think of you in a positive light, right? Whether that is because it's the role as a father, or whether it is they see you and they see someone worth looking up to, whatever it is, you are a role model, like it or not. Like it or not. Kevin, this has nothing to do with Ethan. Well, I don't want to say nothing to do with Ethan. But that's not what this is about. And again, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But if you are consistent, and you know what, that's the thing about, okay, someone the box cutter thing, right? No, I wasn't threatening anybody. I was relaying a story. Gosh darn it, I'm gonna just have to take it off and deal with the cold. If that was a case where someone took that the wrong way as a role model and they're like, oh, hey, I'm gonna do that, well, then that would be called a mistake. What it is not is a pattern of behavior wherein every day or every week or every month, I feel like there's something, right? You ever like see something out of the corner of your eye and you're like, is that like an eyelash dangling or something? But you're like, you can't see it because it's too close to see it, but you can sort of see it. Squirrel. If you're committing to a pattern of behavior, that's not a mistake. That is you modeling an attitude and a lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, for those whom you are a role model to, toward whom you are a role model. You said EVS. No, I said EVSJWC. I just like blanket all of them with the same, because EVSJW, WC, EVSJWC. It's my blanket thing for that whole group of degenerates. That's not the kind of father I would want to be. Jay Hamilton says they are all pretty much the same. And I do apologize for anybody who watches this show who has no idea what I'm talking about. Because, this isn't just a Twitter comic tier. I don't want to call it Comicsgate. It's not Comicsgate. But that whole thing, that's not what this show is about. This show is about just general truths. That's why I wanted to talk about the general truth of using Christ coming to be a role model for us, and us as fathers, as role models. I get the general idea. Thank you, Samuel. Well, that is the thing, God can use anything for the greater good, right? All things work for good, those who love God and are called according to his purposes. Well, if you have a particular incidence of something happening in your life, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So anything, and there's nothing, what is the scripture says? There is nothing particular to any one person. And that's a very bad paraphrase. But so if I'm going through a quote unquote particular situation, that means that somewhere out there in the world, someone else is dealing with a particular situation that is very similar, or that my situation can speak a truth into, right? So if I'm just saying, if you are a person doing things, Jordan Peterson says one of his 12 rules of life is don't let your children be people that you don't like, or do things that make you not like them. I can't remember exactly how it works. That works the other way around. Don't be the kind of person you wouldn't want your children growing up to be, because they will. They will. And if you're doing it, and you know you're doing it, you are a bad parent. Change your ways. Change your ways. You can make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, right? Jesus asks us to be perfect, which doesn't mean we can be. It means we should try to be. But if you continue to do things that you know are wrong, that you wouldn't want your kids doing as adults, stop. Be a grown-up. Be an adult. Be a parent. Be a role model. Change. We can all change. That's life. Funny as it seems, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. My dad once said I was just like him. He was very disappointed. Yeah. There's things about my dad that I would want to emulate, and there's a lot of stuff that I would not. So I make the choice not to, because I want to be a good role model. I want to be a guy that, they say that your daughters end up marrying their fathers. Well, do I want my daughter growing up and marrying some degenerate dildo memes, freaking misogynist, guy who sits in front of a penis graphic all day? I mean, this is the guy you want your children, your daughters to marry? Hell no. Hell no. Maybe I'm just like my father. Mike, you seem to be a great dad, except you won't #pay Eden. That's a running gag. The excuse that the internet isn't real life, so it has no moral rules, is laughable, but is the view many have, and why it's basically a dumpster fire of immorality. How is this not real life? I am sitting here. I am a real person. I am speaking real words. I am behaving in a real way, right? And it is here for posterity until YouTube strikes my channel and it all gets deleted. But a certain group of people should their children watch their shows, are going to be like, oh, this is what it's like to be a man. This is the kind of man I should marry. Sorry. That's terrible parenting. Michael Pernesti says, I don't think there's anyone else out there like me, so I don't think marriage is an option. LOL. It's just a piss poor excuse for degeneracy. It is. It's a terrible excuse. Even if you're doing things like that anonymously, you don't think that, the internet's forever, right? You don't think that stuff will eventually find you out? If you don't have kids yet, you don't think your kids will someday find you out? Yeah, doesn't work like that. Does not work like that, ladies and gentlemen. Edwin says, defamation, slander, libel, and such were never protected by freedom of speech. The court, though, protects abuses of that by forcing the plaintiff to prove something is injurious speech. This Kevin Ryan says this seems to be more one-upsmanship. They're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're bad. That said, I like Mike. Well, you can have, and this is the funny thing is I'm not saying like, I'm just saying there's a practical reality to this, right? These guys aren't Christians, even though some of them claim Christ and yet continue in this degenerate behavior. They're not Christians, so I'm not like, I'm just saying what the practical reality of this is. It's I don't know. I don't want to just keep, pounding the same drum over here. It is Sharon Marlowe. That's a very excellent point. They would never stand for anyone doing that to their families. That is correct. Even there you go. You don't even have to be particularly religious. It's the golden rule shared by every faith. And I believe even like Wiccans, right? Well, actually, what is in Wiccan? It's all things are permissible, just do no harm. This is harm. The golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Would you want your daughter, your mother, your wife being called these vile names, accused of doing these disgusting acts, pasting pornographic imagery on them? Wives, your father, your grandfather, your son, would you want them to have pornographic imagery stuck on their faces? Do unto others. Oh my God, just be a role model. Be a role model. Hey, if I do something stupid, guys, call me out, right? If I make mistakes, I make mistakes. This isn't a mistake. This is a relentless, consistent, pre-planned pattern of behavior. It is modeling behavior. Literally modeling behavior, and your children are watching. If you love your kids, you want them to be good people. Be a better role model. Not just injurious, Edwin, but factually false, which is a high standard. Let's see. That's the point, Edwin. Defamation, slander, and libel are protected, which is why you have to prove injury, lest we all get metaphorically slapped over memes. I think what happens is, though, most of us resist as long as possible for taking action on this stuff. Oh, that was another funny thing. Mike and Edwin, were you aware Malin did a 5-minute long video of me being stripped of my rank and thrown out of the fort? I swear it's true, so I get it. What fort? Oh, you metaphorically. Metaphorically? That was another thing. So I added my voice. Praetorian, I believe it was Praetorian. Somebody posted a thing about, YouTube posted this this commentary on their new harassment policies, and I think it was Praetorian like tagged the board campaign channel and said they have been harassing, doxing, blah blah blah, all this negative stuff. But harassment is essentially what it is, because it's the harassment policy. And he said he's done it to other people, and I said, "Yep, I'm one of those people." And so is this Edwin and blah blah blah. I named these other people, and someone comes in and he says, "What do you believe in cancel culture now?" And because no, as I said, someone mentioned something else, and then I said that it's libel, right? It's illegal. This action is illegal. And he says, "What, do you believe in cancel culture now?" I'm like, would you rather they went to prison? So here's your options. You can take policy remedy, right? YouTube, we have a harassment policy. We don't want to allow harassment, and you tell YouTube. Or you could take legal remedy, which, like Praetorian is doing, right? Legal remedy. People can go to jail. You could do one of these things, or you can just continue to allow these people to libel you, harass you, all this stuff. And trust it is civil and it is criminal. It depends on what state you're in, but this stuff is civil and criminal. So it's not free speech. It's not freedom of speech to commit civil and criminal acts that are against the law. So there's your choices. Do absolutely nothing. File criminal or civil lawsuits, or just complain to YouTube. If you do nothing, it continues ad nauseum forever. Nobody's going to jail over jokes. What Praetorian is dealing with is well beyond jokes, Kevin. Kevin says, no, he used a clip of his Civil War soldier being stripped of rank and being thrown out of a fort and put my name on it. Kevin Ryan, once a wrench, now a memory. We'll never forget him. Well, Kevin, see, it's loyalty. It's one side or the other. Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of this. So sick of this. Could this impact my capacity to do business in the future? That's right. The people don't understand that. They pretend like the internet doesn't matter. The internet is where people do their research on people for job applications, for employment, for membership in churches, in clubs, in whatever, in adoptions, in any time you are vetted. Where do you think people go? They go to the internet. The internet is not real life. This is real life. This is how our lives are now recorded for posterity. Dismiss. Let's see. It's not just jokes, Kevin. It's false accusations and slander. That is correct. All right. I feel like we really need to get to some scripture here because this is just freaking irritating. And then somebody called me a liar. And I'm like, name one thing I've lied about. That was like 2 hours ago. He has not responded. Oh, no, it wasn't 2 hours ago. It was 40 minutes ago. Oh, and he deleted the tweet. I'd share it, but he swore in it. He says, it's SoCal infected patient. He says, you're one to talk, you lying piece of bleep. And I just responded, name one thing I've lied about. And apparently he spent 40 minutes looking for something I'd ever lied about, and he couldn't find anything, so he deleted his tweet. Thank you very much, SoCal. Get a life, I guess. I don't know what else to say. That's too funny. Address confirmation. All right, let's find something. Redacted. I know. These issues and similar ones are some of why I've pulled back from supporting creators and focus now on just a handful. Tired of regretting support the financial cost. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Yeah, it hasn't been cheap. If you've been supporting these comics over the past year and a half, you've got a handful of them. Fortunately, if you bought from me, you can have a whole handful just of mine. But yeah, not a lot has been fulfilled. I know some of the older ones are coming, so that is good. But it's a lot of money to pour out in hopes that you'll get a comic someday. You know? Well, Kevin, if it was one of your kids either doing it or having it directed towards them, would you feel the same? What was Kevin talking about? Oh, will the idea that someone photoshopped you cost you business? No. Will someone seeing the back and forth? Maybe. Kevin says, "Oh, Mike, oddly, it isn't one side or the other. You restored me, and I'm a mod for Ethan too. I do not make penis memes and don't participate in them." Well, according to the new paradigm, you are now part of the show, Kevin. I am responsible for your behavior because you have a wrench on my channel, which I guess means that Ethan is also responsible for your behavior because you have a wrench. So make sure you don't ever do anything wrong that might besmirch my good name, Kevin, or Ethan's good name. This is a stupid standard. I should just give Hikaru his wrench back just to spite those idiots, but he did cross the line. But he also apologized to me personally for crossing the line, so I don't know. Kevin, have you seen the tweets? They were disgusting. They were indeed disgusting. Let's find something worthy to discuss. I'm nice. No besmirching. Sadly, for some creators, degeneracy now fuels their business model. Unless it impacts their pocketbooks, nothing will change over morals. Well, that's the funny thing. Me standing up for my morals and my principles has impacted my pocketbooks. My bottom line. It's impacted my bottom line. It's certainly impacted my YouTube channel. All for the negative, but whatever. Here I stand. I can do no other. I believe it'll all be for the good in the long run. So I am not going to ain't gonna stress it. Matthew 5:48. Be ye perfect. Sorry. That's me being imperfect. Be ye therefore imperfect. Let me go to Matthew 5. Let me just get rid of that 48 part. Because therefore means that there was something prior to 40. Okay. Let me read here. This is a different application window. Hang in there, Edwin and Mike and everyone. Have a better day. You too, R2D2. Oh, I can't read this whole thing. I will start yawning. But, and this is one of those scriptures that I say a lot. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Let your yes be a yes and your no be a no. It's, it can get a little odd at times when someone asks me to do something. Well, I had this discussion with Antonio Bryce. because he asked me to do a cover back when I was like really busy. And I was like, I'm pretty busy, dude. And so he felt like bad about it, but it was just, I'm obviously I didn't, I was more concerned about not being able to fulfill a promise than um, delivering that news, whatever, you know, in some way that took into account his feelings. That's me, and I apologize to him in private. Um, sorry, Aaron, I'm getting distracted. But that's I never. It's like someone's like, hey, you want to do something on Friday night? I'm never like, yeah, dude, let's do it, because I don't want to be like, I never want to flake on somebody. So I don't make promises that I can do things unless I'm absolutely sure that I can do them. I'm like, got to check with the wife. I don't know. I'll find out. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm never one of these guys who like says, yeah, let's do that thing, and then doesn't do it. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. I would rather you not promise me something and not fulfill it than promise me something and not fulfill it. Or I'd rather you not promise me something and then fulfill it, and that'd be great, than not promise me something and then fulfill it. I got a friend I lent money to in July. He said he'd have it back to me in a month. Yeah. You know, you get guys who are like, I'm like, hey, can you get this done for me by Friday? And they say, yeah. So you announce it. And then weeks go by. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That is such an important thing for, I don't care if you're a Christian or not. Please let your yes be yes and your no be no. Whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Why are you talking about me, Willis? What's up, Hikaru? Where was that? Somebody said something. Was it up higher? What is the big thing with the wrenches? I notice it every so often. People in chats trying to get wrenches removed. Do mods make money or something? No. Mods are just fans that for me, I mod somebody if they've been around for a long. I try not to mod too many people, honestly. But if they've been around for long enough and I recognize their name and I see that they've been consistent and whatever, and I need a mod, I'll throw somebody a wrench. If they disappear for a while, I'll de-wrench them. I do clean up my wrenches here and there. But it's just, I don't want swearing in my channel. I don't want vulgarity and stuff in my chats, and I don't want trolls taking over. So I wrench people to moderate the chat. That does not mean they are part of the show. That does not mean that I am morally obligated to represent them or that they represent me. They are usually adults that can do whatever the hell they want. But, there are some lines that if I want to be consistent, I cannot watch people cross, even in real life, and still, like I wouldn't give Ro Kabir Kumar a wrench on my channel. Darn it, I think I saw it. You have Hikaru and he has sketch therapy, I guess. I say that with respect. I've talked to Hikaru before. I don't see that person as totally evil. Stuff happens when people are passionate. Sketch is insane, though. Sketch is like freaking padded cell nuts. That guy should be watched over very carefully. You know what's crazy? I'm not sure it's affected your channel, Mike. You've got like 1,300? Frega, boom, storyboarded Silver Surfer. He's got like 100 subs. 1,300? I've got 6,500 subs, I think. Fraga's over. I think he's at like 2,000 or something now. But he started just recently. I mean, he really started in earnest just recently. Jay says, I take it as an honor. Take it seriously. Thank you. Appreciate that. Missed most of this one. Well, we've got 14 minutes left. Hikaru says, I respect Mike for taking away my wrench. Oh, thank you, Hikaru. And I respect you for apologizing. I do. Thank you very much. What? I never remember who has what rules. Sketch won't be happy until Doug TenNapel builds a time machine. Sketch will never be happy. He's nuts. I'm sorry. I know he's an injured vet, and his injury might have something to do with how insane he is. But I know other injured vets who, talking to this one in particular, talking to people who knew them before they went to war, they're like, no, he was like that before. Like, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, Sketch is intense. You're right. It just been watching these channels so long, seen so much from both sides. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, Sketch used to be a regular, I mean, daily member of this fellowship, right? He said this was his church. You know, we were his church. But I turned against War Campaign, and suddenly, I guess his war campaign is more important than his brothers and sisters in Christ. So I will leave that to his conscience. What's up, Doran? No offense, but I believe that Sketch was belligerent before his injury. Yeah, I'm thinking so too. He is a sad case. I tried, dude. I gave that guy so much rope. Edwin and I, like, would talk to him in DMs ad nauseum, trying to talk him down from just these crazy psychotic opinions he had about this bizarre persecution complex stuff. And at one point, I just bowed out. Edwin has more patience than I do, and I've got 5 kids. I just like freaking, I'm done, man. So I blocked him on Twitter a long time ago. I didn't block him on YouTube, but he was just blowing up my DMs, and I'm just like, no, forget it, dude. I don't have. I have 5 kids. I don't have time for another one that has this kind of. 38. Ye have heard that it had been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Vote for me and I'll set you free. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn him the other also. Now, my understanding of this particular scripture, people are generally speaking right-handed. All right? If someone slaps you, and he's very specific here, if someone slaps you on the right cheek with their right hand, what are they doing? Right hand, right cheek. This is a backhanded slap. This is, in modern vernacular, something I shouldn't say on a Christian show. It is a demeaning, derogatory slap. It is the slap of a person to someone they believe to be inferior. Offer them your left cheek also. You gonna B slap me? Bring it. Hit me like a man. Right? It's a very the female dog slap. That is correct. That is correct. I'm ambidextrous. So it's I don't know. To me, this reads more like treat me like an equal, right? That is a consistent message in the scripture. We are all equal. If someone slaps you if someone B slaps you, offer them your other cheek. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whatsoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. See, that's why I had to lend him the money. I just hope he pays me back soon. Oh, wait, who? He always brings you up as number one. I just wish things were the way they were back when all sides were cool. But stuff happens. At least I can still enjoy both channels without joining the riffraff. Who? What? Am I missing something here? Number one what? I know. If you're talking about EVS, I know. He can't keep my name out of his mouth. That guy, I live rent-free in his head. It's kind of sad. Kind of sad. Dragon says it was never cool. That's the mistake that is made. It's just more people are waking up to what some people were doing. Sketch tried to blackmail me several times. Jeez. Mike, in War Campaign's defense, they have offered you both cheeks many times. Kevin runs under the couch and hides. You stay under that couch, Kevin. You stay under that couch. Oh, that sketch has you out as number one. Oh, okay. Yeah. My take on it has always been, says Johnny Torch, it's the form of an insult, not actual violence. Turn away from the insult. Don't respond in kind. Well, it's not turning away, though. It's offering the other cheek, right? So that has to have, you have to understand the particular connotations of that action. Even if you're using it metaphorically as, insult or whatever. If someone's going to insult you, then you're off by offering them the other cheek. And then in that metaphor, you would be saying, still treat me like an equal. I'm not your B. I'm not your subordinate. I'm not your child or whatever. We are equals. Deal with me as an equal. I guess that would be another way of I don't know. Please read your super chat. I'm sorry, Kathy. I'm not on YouTube. Let me Kathy Stark for $9.99. Mike received Packins Land Omnibus with your dust jacket today. The detail you put into the dust jacket is amazing. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for the super chat as well. I do appreciate it. I don't know. I don't understand why I can't see the super chats on StreamYard. I know other people can, so it's just kind of confusing. John the Boss Carter says, what up and good morning, Mike S. Miller and the whole chat. Hope everyone is doing great. We're doing fantastic, John. Thank you for saying so. Let's see if we can actually in the next 5 minutes get to the verse that I'm trying to get to. You have heard it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. The last part I do. And by loving, you hope the best for, right? Well, you want what is best for. And by doing that, you pray for them. Bless them that curse you. That's the hard one, isn't it? Blessing the people that curse you. That is the hard one. Oh, Dragon says, when they slap you whichever way you offer the other cheek, you are issuing a challenge to do it again, usually to say, first one was pathetic, i.e. your call thing pathetic. That's an interesting take on it. Just in time for the verse of the day. Thanks, Mike. Well, we're trying to get to the verse of the day, but I got to get through the preamble first. That is the hard part. Blessing them that curse you, doing good to them that hate you. But honestly, and it does seem like an insult, me asking these people to be better role models, that is me hoping for the best for them. I don't want their children to grow up to be people like they are being, right? Because that's a curse. It would be a blessing if they would stop acting the way they do and they become good role models for their children, so their children can grow up to be better people and bless them and bless everyone. Bless the world. The world is not blessed by douchebags. Sorry. Not how it works. You don't get to be a degenerate douchebag, a misogynist, and a troll. Well, guilty. But I don't troll with spite. I troll with humor. There's a difference. I don't troll with dildos and cruelty and vile, degenerate behavior. Like my EVS troll, right? My second greatest troll, right? The Cyber Frog, the magic of the Cyber Frog Lone Star troll. That was out of love, man. I just knew how to troll right. That was great. And it was a joy. Everybody that watched it freaking loved it. So anyways, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? And if ye salute your brethren only, what more? What do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Do all these things, ladies and gentlemen. Do all these things. And don't, believer or not, right? We do these things as believers, children or not. We do them because we are called to, because we love God. If you love me, obey my commandments, right? If you love me, be perfect as I am perfect. If you love me, feed my sheep. If you love me, feed my lambs. If you love Christ, you do these things out of a love for God. But if you don't know God, if you're an agnostic, if you are an atheist, do these things because you don't want those who look up to you as a role model to emulate bad behavior, right? As Christ did these things to emulate good behavior for us. Do good things. Be good. Hikaru. It applies to you as well. Whatever you believe, be the kind of person that you want your children to emulate. Be the kind of person that you want your nieces and nephews to emulate, that you want the kids in your life to emulate. Not even just the kids. Say you have, teenagers or younger men in your life who look up to you as a person of value in their life. That means you are a role model. Don't be someone you don't want people who emulate you to be. Right? That's a good way to put it. Duran Long says, act like the world you want to live in. Hikaru says, no! Because Betty, I'm a bit hot-headed, so I mute everyone who would tempt me to snark, practicing self-control. Feels. Be better, people. Be better. Be perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. And that is how I'm going to wrap this up for today. We are over an hour. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. God bless you. Be better. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. And always remember,
I find your lack of faith disturbing.